Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on TikTok, keeping it real with you, with my recovery. And we're going to be dealing with the confessions of my recovery, the confessions of my recovery. I'm so happy that you have the moment to be a part of my recovery. And I hope that what I share will help you say, this is something to think about. Maybe I might give it some thought. This may change my behavior. This may give me a good outlook on my situation. So, today is Friday, and whew, it's been a long week for me. I'm glad that it's Friday. And today, I want to talk about some of the things I've experienced when I was homeless. You know, people can have an opinion about homelessness. They can have their opinion about how they look and view it and how life is, but you don't know until you've been in that situation. You don't know until you've been in that situation. While I was homeless, I still had compassion for my fellow brothers and sisters that was homeless. At first, I had the compassion. When I came to myself and got off the pity party of crying the blues of how I got to be homeless and started to survive, I started having respect and care for myself, the way I looked and the way I presented myself. The only way you knew that Robert was homeless was that he carried suitcases with wheels, two suitcases stacked on the top of each other, and I would carry that with me. And it consists of clothes, about 2 days worth of clothes, sleeping bag, cleaning supplies for the area that I would be sleeping in, and also cleaning supplies to keep myself clean. And I kept me food and drink. I had containers that I would hold my liquor that kept my drinks cold for 40, 48 hours. So when I filled it with ice and I put my drink in there, the ice would last exactly 48 hours because I'm homeless and you don't get ice just pulled out of the atmosphere. I would go to Circle K and I would pay that $1.08 and get me a fountain drink and fill it. And this was my life. Now, I remember I would sleep at this particular bus stop. And before I would make this my spot to sleep, I would clean the seat of the bus stop. I would clean the area around the bus stop, would disinfect it and bleach. And I had a little broom. I'll sweep it all up and clean the whole area around the bus stop. And this is where I would be until the morning time. And the interesting thing is that the police would come by and they would park and watch me clean the bus stop and the area. And they would not bother me. Sometimes they would ride by and say, "Are you okay tonight?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, you have a good night." And then the other times they would say that there's something going on, there's a shooting, you need to stay put, don't go nowhere. And this is, I guess, because of the way I conducted myself. I had pride and respect for myself. And when I laid my head, I made sure that that entire area was clean. And a lot of times when I got there, it wasn't clean and it smelled, probably from people pissing in the area of the bus stop. So I would clean it up and I would hook up my sleeping blanket and I would get up into it. And the funny thing is that a lot of people that were homeless knew I slept there. They knew I had drink. They knew I had food. So they would, and funny thing, it would be females that would come down and they would sit with me and they would talk about their situation and the issues that they're going through. And I always had compassion for people. So I would give them a sandwich, something to drink. Uh, Sometimes that was a shoulder to cry on. And I just learned to be a friend because I've been alone a lot of my life and I've experienced the need for companionship. So I understood what people was going through, uh, the choices that they were making. And they found comfort by associating with me for that short period of time. And most of them would go back to doing what they normally do. But their look at me and the way they felt about me changed because I treated them like a human being. And being homeless, you don't get treated like a human being. You get treated like you're the scum of the earth. People don't want to be associated with you. They don't want no. They don't even want you to get close to them. You know, and they don't want to help you. They want to kick you while you're down. But there are people that do help, but on the most part, they want to kick you when you're down. Now, the programs that they have for homeless peoples is is fantastic. But if you follow trying to connect with all the programs, you're not going to have time enough to work to make money. So you have a choice. You either work all the programs and hope that things will get better, or you have to get you a temporary work out of a temp place, which I did. I worked out of a temp place and I went out every morning. I never had to wait for work. I was a good worker. And at the end of my day, I would get paid. I would go pick up my money and I would get paid. And I always brought me something to eat and I would save the rest. I would definitely save the rest. So these are These are the things that I had to do to survive. I would have to wash my clothes. I had to wash my clothes, and I took care of myself, and I saved my money. I slept on a light rail, uh, and that was my lifestyle. And I was saving. I had hope that I was eventually going to get into my own place, but I was still using. Um, and I believe I was basically using because I was lonely. Uh, when you try to do better for yourself, uh, and you're trying to move in a positive way and do the right thing while you're homeless, there's very few people that's going to follow that path. People realized that I had money. People realized that I was not like the crowd. So one night, after I cleaned up the bus stop and I was laying there asleep, somebody set my sleeping bag on fire. They set my sleeping bag on fire while I was in there. And I felt the heat. I jumped out of the sleeping bag, put it out. I pulled out my gun and looked to shoot anybody in the vicinity of where I was at. But there was no one, not a single person. Someone had came over, set my sleeping bag on fire, and got away. I don't understand why, but this happened. It changed my behavior. I went from a compassionate person to a person that had no feelings anymore about anyone but myself. I went to Target. I bought me two axes and I would hang them on the side of me. I kept the 9mm in the back of my back and I would walk around carrying my bags. And if you disrespected me, I would hurt you. I would not say nothing to you. I let you disrespect me, and then I will hurt you. My sole goal was to hurt you in a manner that you could not get back up anytime soon. Person owed me $20. I poured gasoline on him and told him, you better give me my money or I'm gonna set you on fire. The dope dealer gave me the $20 and gave me dope to not let to not set this person on fire. See, when my sleeping bag got on fire, all bets were off. I felt that I was at war with anybody and everybody. I've had enough. I choose not to be a victim no more. I choose to be the perpetrator to anyone and anyone that got in my way. See, people don't understand being homelessness until you're there. The same people that would smile in your face 1 minute will be the same person that would rob you and cut your throat in a split second. People respected people for whatever they stood up for, being homeless. People knew the crazy people that was running around acting crazy. People knew the people that was selling dope. People knew that they was runners. People knew everybody knew who what everybody was doing. And you stayed in your own clique and you stayed out the way. Me, all I wanted to do was be left the fuck alone. Do not fuck with me. I've had enough of you people. And that was my lifestyle. I saved up over $5,000 in the storage, bought stuff for a studio apartment. I'm ready. One of my little gigs was helping uh, at a Circle K doing security up there near the airport off of Washington Street in Arizona, in Phoenix, right near Sky Harbor. It's closed now. The Circle K is closed down now. But a lot of homeless people would be hanging there. They would steal out the store and come sit at the bus stop. And this woman that worked there, she needed help. So I helped her. She paid me out of her pocket and gave me food. And this was, I would go there every night because I would get the light rail. Again, it was like 3:45 in the morning it would come. So from 12 to 3:45, I was at the Circle K. I've chased people out the stores. I've called the police on people. Uh, People that came from Sky Harbor was getting harassed. I stopped a lot of that. And I was on record because I used my phone calling the police. This particular gentleman was high as a kite. He was acting crazy. I chased him out the store. He went around the side and I pulled my weapon out to keep myself safe and so he would surprise me in a situation that I might get hurt. He called the police. The police came. They looked at the tape and they said that I was arresting me and charging me with aggravated assault, and I ain't touched this man. They said we can charge you with aggravated assault because by your weapon and your appearance, this man felt like his life was in danger. So that's considered aggravated assault in the state of Arizona. So everything that I worked up to that point in my life, I lost. The money that I had in the storage, gone. The stuff that I brought was gone. I was locked up. And I could not get a court date because the epidemic. I was in the middle of the epidemic being locked up. Yes. So, so I've overcame a lot of stuff. I really have. I've seen the side of homelessness. I've been there. And I share this with you to let you understand that even though I've been through all that I do, I still have compassion and love for my fellow man. I seen I seen a level of suffering being homeless that I thought never existed until I was in it. The stories that I've heard people share about how they got there. And you know what? It wasn't all about drugs. Drugs came after the fact with a lot of people that are homeless. They didn't get there by drugs. They got there by bad choices. They got there by someone else actions. Most people got homeless by someone else's actions. They were duped. They was conned. See, I lived homelessness. So people that did not use drugs, a lot of them started using drugs because the pain was so great. They didn't have nothing. And the only common denominator being homelessness is to have connections with others is either getting high, food, or shelter. That's it. Otherwise, you're alone. It's hard to keep yourself positive being homeless. It really is. This is Robert Goodman, Confessions of My Recovery. I'm glad that you joined in. I'm so happy that you did. I've experienced a lot in my lifetime, and I share that tidbit of information about me is to let you know I truly understand homelessness. I truly understand the pain. You know, when I used to get on the bus with my suitcase, and here's another thing, where I was hanging at when I was homelessness, this woman that stayed in the hotel room brought her dog out there and brought it to the bus stop. Now I'm going to get on the bus to do my little money route. I make some money. And she was going to leave the dog out there by herself. Didn't want the dog. The old man's bitching about the dog, so she was just going to let the dog go. The dog was a puppy. I politely put that dog in my bag, and me and that dog hung out for the next 30 days. Ate good, was my companion. And then I realized I gave the dog to somebody that would take care of him and love him. I ran across somebody like that. People have no idea of how, on one hand, people say they want to help people in homelessness. On the other hand, they treat them like the scum of the earth. And reality is that there is a way to help, but the way the system's set up is to keep you caught in the vicious cycle of depending on the system to take care of you. Now that this formula that the government has created, they want to change their behavior now. They've been using the same formula for centuries. Now they want to change their behavior. You've created this. You've created this. You didn't make a solution to the problem. You just put band-aids on it so you continue to do what you need to do. And you set up the programs not for their benefit, but for your benefit to look good. Because there is a formula to make a homeless person a, a member of society, a person that's willing to take care of themselves and be a productive member of society. There is a way, but you choose not to do it. And this is where we're at today. So if you think that my passion for people in addiction is not there, you have no idea of what I've experienced in my lifetime. You really truly don't understand none of the information that I truly give about addiction and about living life on life's terms. Recovery taught me to have an open mind. It taught me that, Robert, you don't know everything. You only know a little. You only know a little. So you got to keep striving to better yourself, to gather more information so you can protect yourself in recovery. Because you duped yourself for 40 years. You misled yourself for 40 years. So I can't trust Robert. I have to pay attention to Robert so Robert doesn't make the same mistakes or make new mistakes. I have to watch myself because my history tells me it's my choices that cause the situations to happen. Nobody else's. Yes, I may have been traumatized, yes, but I'm the one that made the choices to do what I did. Nobody else. I owned up to my own situation. And when I realized what I've done to myself and others, that's when the tears, the pain, the remorse came out. And if you listen and you trying to follow what I'm talking about, you will know in my some of my videos that I cried for hours at a time. I've said, God, why me? Why do I have to suffer like this? And it still hurts when I say that because I remember the pain. I remember the pain. I remember the loneliness. I remember all that. See, a person that's been homeless gets on their feet and move forward takes a lot. It's not easy. A person that's homeless goes into the programs that they have for homelessness. They have a whole bunch of rules and regulations. And in these programs, it's like the Wild Wild West. Everybody there is not there to get themselves together. A lot of people are there to rest up and prepare themselves for their next run so they can get more money because they're looking like a regular person. So you're living in a wild, wild west trying to do the right thing to build a life for yourself. It's just like being in the streets, but the only difference is you have a place to lay your head. So you got to stay focused on your program of recovery. You have to stay focused on the things that you need to do. What kept me focused all the time was I always said to myself, Robert, if you was doing the right thing, you would not be in the situation that you are in today. I didn't put the finger on nobody else. I said, Robert, if you was doing this, then you wouldn't be in this situation. And that taught me to clean up the wreckage of my past. It taught me to watch myself in the present, that I don't fall back down the rabbit hole. And I'm going to explain something that probably a lot of you will probably understand. When you get to a point where you are taking care of yourself, you're moving forward in recovery, and you're feeling good about yourself, when an outsider looks at you of the opposite sex, looks at you and wants to associate with you, wants you to be around you, and want to be close with you, you it takes a minute for you to really believe that this is truly happening to you because everybody treated you like you was the scum of the earth. And at some point you believe what people was telling you because you didn't like where you was at. I didn't like where I was at. I hated where I was at. So the things that were done to me, I felt it was my fault. And partially it was because of the decision making that I made. When I got clean and sober and when my mind was clear, I truly looked at the mistakes that Robert made in his life up to that point, which caused me to hurt, hate myself. I went through some changes. It took a minute for me to love myself. And that's where the program of recovery came in. They loved me until I could love myself. Because when you listen and see what you've done to yourself and others, it's not a good feeling. You don't like yourself, you don't appreciate what you've done. You're clean and sober in the mind, and you're realizing the damage that you've done to others, and it hurts. It truly does hurt. But when the people of recovery embraced me, I was able to deal with that pain and accept it and move forward. And the thing that stuck in my head through the whole process was they said, Robert, you don't have to live like that anymore. You're clean and sober. Robert, you don't have to live like that. You're not that person anymore. Robert, you have a message that you can save somebody. Share your pain. It'll help you and help somebody else. It's okay. The disease of addiction made you act that way. The hugs and these thoughts and these things that were said to me gave me the strength to move forward in my recovery. If that didn't happen, I would have probably be dead now. But it gave me an opportunity to move forward in recovery. I never experienced a level of love and compassion that I received in my recovery from fellow addicts like I did. People that really didn't know me embraced me. So when people say, Robert, why do you do what you do? I do what I do because it was freely given to me. That's why I do what I do, because it was freely given to me. At my worst, I got a hug. When I decided not to lay down and let homelessness beat me up and I took care of myself, I'm going to tell you the story. I'll never, this story, this changed how I looked at myself and people. I would ride this bus, and this bus driver, she female, we always chit chat and talk, and she knew I was homeless and everything. And one day I got on the bus, and she said, Robert, she says, I'm gonna do you a solid. She says, I'm gonna come pick you up, and we're gonna go hang out. Yeah, okay. Being homeless, you always hear stories about people saying they're gonna do this and do that, and they don't ever show. And I paid it no mind, just people say stuff to make themselves feel good, but they're not gonna follow through. But she followed through. She took me out to eat. We kicked it. We had some fun, and she took me to her house. Beautiful home. And that was the first time in a long time someone treated me like a friend. It's making me cry right now because I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling. It's powerful. For the first time in a long time, someone truly seeing me as a person that I haven't been seeing in a long time. So that's why I have tears of joy right now because someone truly treated me like a human being. And that gave me the strength and the power to be vindicated in my recovery, my life, and moving forward. She was not trying to manipulate me. She was not trying to use me for sex. She was being a friend, something that I hadn't experienced. I was being alone. When you're homeless, you're alone. And for the first time, I felt I had a friend. So we associated, right? I was still riding the bus, we would talk and everything. And then her route changed, and I didn't see her anymore, and we lost contact. But for that moment in my lifetime, I felt like a human being. I felt like I managed. I managed. It made me want more than what I have. It made me go into recovery. It made me change my behavior. It gave me hope. It truly did. Personally, I thought that that was a power greater than myself restored me right then to sanity. Right then. Because I was at a stage in my life and being your sleeping bag set on fire that I had lost all hope, that I knew in my heart that I'm going to end up dead. Either me hurting somebody or the police killing me, trying to stop me. But a power greater than myself brought this person into my life, have this connection, and it changed my behavior and my look upon things in my life, which drove me directly to a program of recovery. And I went knee deep, nose wide, and did all that I possibly can to change my behavior and my life. And here I am today. I didn't get here by osmosis. I didn't get here by just showing up. I had to work hard on me. I worked hard on me. I looked at the reality of who the hell I was, why I did what I did, and understood the reason why. See, I understand why I got high in the first place. I understand what drugs did to me. I understand how screwed up my body is. I understand all these things. I did this to me. Me. Yeah, I had trauma, but the reason why I couldn't handle my trauma, I didn't have no help. I dealt with my trauma by myself. So I didn't have no full understanding of how to deal with trauma, how to face it, how to walk through the pain and come out on the other side. Recovery taught me that. So my trauma lived rent free in my head. Things that people did to me, the things I did to people live rent free in my head. Being homeless lived rent free in my head. And I would, and being lonely lived rent free in my head. And I would live these feelings over and over and over and over again. And I would medicate myself because the pain was so great that I wouldn't be able to function as a normal human being to get what I need to survive. And that's my reality. So if anybody asks you how you got here, give them the real. Give them the real about recovery, your recovery, how you got there, the pain that you went through. And here's the thing that I've learned. I'm 66 years old and I've learned this, and this is a fact. A person coming from addiction into recovery, getting a recovery, and living life on life's terms and becoming a productive member of society is a strong ass person. because regular people don't own up to the shit that they do. They don't make better choices after that, and they don't move forward. Recovering addicts are one of the best loyal people that you're ever going to find. And they're the ones that got the biggest hearts, too. Why? Because they suffered. We've suffered. We've suffered pain that's unbearable. We suffered. And people don't want to look at our suffering. They don't want to look at how we got here. All they want to look at is the end result. Yeah, you're an addict. You'll never change. And that's what they want to believe. But statistics tell us that there's a lot of programs that are administrators that are recovering addicts, that are living their best lives, that travel all over the world. They go to speaking games all over the United States about recovery. They're shining their light on others, helping others because they understand the pain. They don't want nobody to suffer like they did. They're giving back what was freely given to them because it changed their life. It made their life better. So they want someone else to live that type of level of life because it was so freely given to them. It was so freely given to me. So I'm giving you my strength, hopes, and my dreams about recovery. I'm giving you my information about recovery because I want you to live your best life. I want you to find out what works for you. I want you to be better than you was yesterday. And the only way you can do that is keep the focus on yourself because that was the only way that I could get better, keeping the focus on myself because I'm the one that duped myself. I'm the one that brought me in addiction. I'm the one that carried myself out of addiction. So I better keep my focus on myself so I don't go down that rabbit hole anymore. I hope I've shared some things and expressed some emotions and feelings with you to make you look at yourself as you are your own hero. You are a hero to others when you express your recovery to others. People look up to you, what you say and what you do, because they can't believe you've come this far. And there are going to be people that are going to hate you, that talk bad about you for your past. Let them live in the past. You live in the present. Let them go and let a power greater than yourself restore their mental state to sanity. It's not your job. I believe in God, so it's God's job to change their behavior, not mine. I hope I said something that resonated with you. My name is Robert Goodman, and I am a recovering addict and proud to be it. I'm proud to share my strength and hopes with you. And it's Friday, excuse me, it's Friday. And I want you to have a great and wonderful Friday. And remember, only you can save yourself from addiction as long as you keep the focus on yourself. Y'all have a great day.